This is Macklin Celebrini, and he is the new most expensive player in the NHL. The 20-year-old superstar showed last year that he could be the next generational talent with a season that only a select few have had as a teenager. A 115-point season that had him alongside only Wayne Gretzky and Sidney Crosby in terms of production at that age. And he just signed a 5-year extension with an $18.8 million cap hit. Yeah, you heard that right. It is a monstrous deal, and he still has 1 year left on his entry-level contract before this new deal kicks in during the 2027-2028 season. And so with this deal, he's set to become the highest paid player in the NHL, passing Leo Carlsson, who just signed for 5 years at $18 million earlier in July after the Anaheim Ducks decided to match the Flyers' offer sheet. This deal is yet another sign of where the new NHL is going, with the salary cap exploding and elite talent cashing in off their entry-level contracts. So let's break down the deal, how it impacts the rest of the league, and take a deep dive into Celebrini's game and why he has become the most expensive player in the league. Now, this deal is the richest contract in Sharks history, worth a total of 94 schmil. Previously, the Sharks handed the largest contract to Erik Karlsson back in 2019. It was an 8-year extension worth $92 million, which was an 11.5 AAV at the time. So Celebrini's next contract will have the highest AAV in the NHL, but it may not be the last one, with the salary cap rising to $113.5 million for the 27-28 season and potentially higher in seasons to follow. And so that leads us to a long list of elite and franchise players in line for a pay raise during those years. If you go down the list, you might get dizzy. Cale Makar, Nikita Kucherov, Jason Robertson, Quinn Hughes, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, and Zach Werenski all have contracts that expire in 2028. Every one of them will want Jerry Maguire as an agent after this deal by Macklin Celebrini. Just looking at the accomplishments, it's not surprising that he got absolutely paid in this deal. He was named captain of Team Canada at the Worlds. Couple that with an unbelievable Olympic tournament, he was named the IIHF Player of the Year for Canada. He finished 4th in Hart voting, set the single-season point record for the Sharks with 115 points, and led San Jose to a 34-point jump in the standings that almost led them to the playoffs. Yet, this deal still caught fans off guard. Why? Well, because the last report on the entire Celebrini extension was that he was potentially taking a team-friendly discount, similar to the past of Crosby and McDavid. But after seeing this deal, fans saw the number initially and were like, whoa, 18.8 schmil? Are you kidding me? That is not a discount, especially when you compare it to the Bedard contract that was signed a few weeks ago at 5 years, 15 million AAV. Now, the best way to judge contracts is to look at the percentage of the cap that the contract takes up. Now, the max AAV that anyone can make in the league right now is $20.8 million a season, which is 20% of the salary cap on a team. So I did a little digging, and thanks to our friends over at Puckpedia, I was able to see that Celebrini's deal will occupy 16.6% of the cap when it starts in 2027. Now, for reference, when Sidney Crosby signed his first deal out of his entry-level contract at $8.7 million, that took up 15.34% of the salary cap in 2008. Connor McDavid almost mirrored that when he signed for 12.5 back in 2018, where his deal took up 15.72% of the salary cap. So Celebrini is coming in a shade higher than those two. That being said, Celebrini still has 1 more year on his entry-level deal, and based on what we've seen, some could argue that the kid still took a pay cut based on his impact, and that's because when you dive into the details of his game, there's a reason why people are calling him Crosby 2.0. As a teenager, he became one of the game's premier two-way stars with sky-high offensive upside that is only enhanced with his relentless motor both on and off the puck. It's hard to divide Celebrini's game into offense and defense because his game blends the two seamlessly and feed off one another in a way that makes him incredibly hard to stop. Like all new age superstars, his feet and quickness is among the elite, and that made him one of the most effective rush players in the league, ranking in the 98th percentile for zone entries and 96th percentile in entries with possession in this past season. And really, it comes down to one simple principle: his willingness to attack the middle of the ice and in between the dots. Rather than settling for the perimeter and driving out wide, Celebrini consistently drives between the dots, forcing defenders to collapse towards him. And what that does is it creates difficult decisions for the defense. Step up too early and he will beat you with speed. Back off and he'll attack downhill with possession. Collapse towards him, and you'll slip the puck into space that you've just vacated. It's the same formula that you see from the league's elite transition players. They demand attention first, then use pace changes, delays, cutbacks, and deception to create the offense. The thing with Celebrini's transition offense, though, is that he doesn't let you breathe. Take this play right here. On a regroup with Chicago changing, Celebrini could swing this out wide for predictable and slower build to the attack, but it also puts the puck outside of the dot lanes. So instead of waiting for the Hawks to get settled on their change, he makes a hard cutback, beats the stick of the first defender, and immediately puts the D on their heels. But again, Celebrini creates the conditions he wants, and once he has the potential step on this D, he hammers on for another hard cutback, which forces the D to retreat back to the net. Now, with this time and space, he opts again to ramp up the attack directly at the net by claiming that space for a down-low play, and it creates a goal. As a teenager, the speed and pace of the game answered to him because of how well he controlled the middle of the ice with possession. Teams did make adjustments this year, though, to get more aggressive up ice against Celebrini to deny him the puck before he can even build that speed, but he and the Sharks adjusted effectively. You'll see it later in the video, but his timing is already years beyond his age when executing his routes. If a teammate is under pressure along the wall, he has a knack for drifting into open ice as an outlet. If there's space through the middle, he'll accelerate into it at the exact right moment. He's constantly arriving with speed instead of just waiting for it to happen. It's a subtle difference, but it's one that's made him just as dangerous despite the extra attention he's been receiving. Those same habits that make him dangerous on the transition also translate directly to his offensive zone game. With a player as talented as Celebrini, it's easy to focus on what he does once the puck is on his stick, but so much of his offense is created long before that ever happens. His routes away from the puck are elite. He understands spacing, supports the play instinctively, and constantly puts himself in positions to allow his teammates to stay aggressive. I've made this comparison in past breakdowns, but his ability to find soft ice is similar to a quarterback's pocket presence. Great quarterbacks don't just react to pressure, they feel it before it arrives. Celebrini does the exact same thing in the O-zone. He has an uncanny awareness of where defenders are drifting and where the passing lanes are about to open. Rather than forcing himself into traffic, he'll subtly slide into open space, arriving just as the puck does as well. Those little movements may not show up on the highlight reel, but they're a huge reason why he was the most dangerous mid-range scorer in the league according to NHL Edge stats. Another is his first touch of the puck and how he can take any puck within his vicinity and put it into position to unload a cannon or make a pass. Take this play here. Celebrini is ready to uncork one, but it's not a great pass to him. It's on his backhand side, it's in his feet, but peek this Andrea Pirlo action. A subtle redirect with his foot to the point keeps this possession alive, and then he's going to stay quiet in that soft area between the Jets' coverage. This first touch is now perfect. His toes are pointed away from the net, but upon receival, he absorbs the puck onto his front foot while simultaneously making an aggressive cut with his right foot to shift his body toward the net and instantly into a shooting threat. If this touch isn't perfect or even takes an extra half second, the coverage collapses and this isn't a goal, but his spacing, touch, and execution is flawless. And that is why his shot has become a real problem for goaltenders as well. 45 tucks last season, 4th in the league. His strong 2-foot stance and ability to settle awkward pucks make him an elite shooting threat from anywhere on the ice. However, the true dynamics of his attack expand with his ability to manipulate defenders with his head and eyes. Can't believe it, but he may very well be the first hockey player ever to not know what the color of the puck is. His head and eyes are always up. He's processing information while also conveying fake signals to his opponents. That combination has made him an outstanding playmaker. Celebrini, like Crosby, understands that the puck almost always moves faster than the player carrying it. His touches are quick, efficient, and purposeful. He'll receive the puck and immediately identify where the defense has shifted and move it into a dangerous area before coverage has time to recover. It's not flashy possession for the sake of possession. It's possession with a purpose, and every touch is designed to break their defensive structure. The final piece, and the one that separates him the most from other stars his age, is his defensive game. Celebrini doesn't treat defense as something that happens after his team loses the puck. His offense and and defensive habits are completely connected. The same anticipation, positioning, and processing speed that generate offense also make him one of San Jose's best defensive forwards, if not the best. He tracks relentlessly through the neutral zone, takes outstanding defensive angles to get above pucks and kill north-south momentum. And because he's got such a great motor, he's able to stay consistently on the right side of the puck. But what really stands out is his understanding of where the next play is developing. Rather than simply chasing down the puck carrier, he's already thinking about the next pass, option, and how to eliminate it before it even happens. Those are habits that coaches absolutely love because they drive winning hockey. And when you put it all together, you get something incredibly rare. A teenager already playing one of the most complete games in the NHL, and an individual force so impactful that he almost willed this Sharks team into the playoffs. Already considered by all of his peers to be one of the best players in the league based on his nomination for the Ted Lindsay, Celebrini is a one-of-a-kind player. This deal is a reflection of that, and when you look at the players that he's been compared to throughout his young career, they have signed similar deals. The next wave of young superstars are getting paid, and now we're going to see if these deals hinder a team's ability to build a true contender down the road or are simply a part of the new evolution of how to build a Stanley Cup contender. So, what do you think of the Celebrini deal? Do you think he's worth every penny? Do you think it's an overpay or a discount? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm Anthony. I do all the breakdowns for the channel. If you want to stay up to date on all things NHL and dive deeper into the biggest moves, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a single thing.